Okay, so I was in my rhythm, and I start out with the right hand because most people are right-handed. But most pedaling is generated from chord changes, and the left hand controls that more than the right hand. So I also do this with left hand alone. And I also ask them to say up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Then I try to put it in different contextual situations so they keep reviewing but are challenged by the situation. So one I like to do is to play a C scale, down, up, down, up, down, maybe a 5-note pattern, or you could have them go all the way up and all the way back down, much slower because their foot isn't going to work that well. Down, up, down, and then do it in the left hand. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and so forth. Then, when they know a couple chords, down, up, or down, up, down. Now, I spend a lot of time on pedaling because a lot of people pedal poorly. They do not pedal accurately, and they aren't really listening. So one step that I often do is have, and I want you to do this, turn and look the other way. And I'm going to pedal 2 notes, and you tell me if they are correctly connected. Okay, how was that?
No.
You heard a little tiny break in that, didn't you? But if you tried that with your students, they're going to say, I think that was okay. And you want to get them to hear that little break. Okay, listen to this. Oh, sorry. How's that pedaling?
Too muddy.
Too muddy, thank you. How's that?
It's just good.
It is good. Now, we can argue about degrees of overlapping. I'm purposely overlapping a little bit to get an extra level of legato. But I try to get them to hear a basic legato and then try it this way. And they often go like this. Look at my foot now. My foot is trying to go down with the chord. And if you do it with the chord, and that's when the pedal comes out wrong. And see if the foot and the pedal go down together as though I have a string on my finger attached to my foot.
Okay.
I feel like a puppet. If you do that, it's wrong. It has to be hand down, foot up, foot down, hand up. Hand down, foot up, foot down, hand up. It's very hard to coordinate. Down, now I release my hand. And when I hear the note, I come up gradually, back down, up, down. I try to get them to squeeze the pedal so they don't do this.
I used to teach in that way. I let them imagine that it's a long stick.
Yeah.
And I put my hand.
Yeah.
And the foot,
Yes.
my foot here.
It's called a lever.
The hand down and the foot up.
Yeah.
And the foot down and up to imagine there is a stick there.
Well, you may have a very good way of explaining that yourself, but I wanted to start with that, and I may play that in pedagogy class if you could bring that with you.
Okay, this one. Okay.
Yeah. And then the middle pedal we don't use very often, but as you know, in order to use it, whatever damper or dampers, whatever keys we have depressed, if we depress those keys, we lift dampers in the back, and you'd have to show your students what a damper is. Come here. Dampers are these black things back here. That's a damper. The damper damps the string. So whatever dampers are up in the air, when I push this down, look at the dampers inside. Okay, I'm going to press the middle pedal and now release and the dampers stay up. There's a mechanism on a grand piano. This doesn't work on an upright, but on a grand piano, there's a mechanism that a slide that goes in and holds everything that's already up in the air. It keeps it there. So then you can, and you get just those notes. Now, a couple times when you were doing it, you tried to put your pedal down with the chord, and you weren't catching anything. You've got to be after. And it doesn't matter if you're silent or if you're making noise. Whoop. What piece is it? I have somebody doing a piece where we do that silently before you play, and I can't think of what the piece is. I don't even have to play those notes to get them to sound. You know, like that Bartok piece. Remember harmonics? That piece that I had you silently. Bartok. Now that's without a sostenuto pedal, you can get the same effect. Then the left pedal, we call technically the una corda, which is Latin for single string. When we release it, it's called usually tre corda, and I think that means full chord. Sometimes you see duo corda for 2 chords. When you look on the inside of the piano, and again, it's very different on a grand than an upright. When I move that pedal, the hammers shift. So now the hammer is hitting on a soft part of the felt instead of the part that's really hard. Come in. Come in. Come in.
I couldn't hear you because
it's okay, the singing.
Choir.
I know.
Whoa.
Yes, everything's funny in
Is
here.
that like...
Wait a minute, we're recording right now. Hang on just 1 second. So Danny, when you push the soft pedal, so-called soft pedal down, instead of a hammer hitting 3 strings, it's hitting 2 strings. Except in the lower register where you have 2 strings on a key, then it'll hit 1 string instead of 2. But most of them it hits 2 instead of 3. And that's supposed to change the physics of the sound, but more importantly, I think the hammer hits on a soft part of the felt in between the grooved portions, and that changes the sound. Do you want to pause that?
Sure.